Hi, welcome back to my video training series, Are Sales Wounds Stopping You from Achieving Your Goals? My name is Julia Kline. And in this video, we are talking about sales wound number 6, the visibility wound. Now, the core wound, the core self-limiting belief behind this wound is, if I succeed, people will see me, perhaps for the very first time. And I'm obviously not ready for that. And the fear that drives this wound is a deep, generalized anxiety of not being good enough and all of the horrible, ego-destroying consequences that you are afraid would result if you tried anyway. If you're suffering from this wound, you know it. This is not a wound that afflicts everybody, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video series. This is a wound that is particular to those of us who want to have an impact in the world. If you have a message that you want to share, if you have big work that you want to get out into the world, if you feel that you are here to help a significant number of people, it's very likely that if you haven't done it yet, it's very likely that a big part of what's holding you back is the visibility wound. And the visibility wound is this feeling of, I want to be big and bright and shiny, and I want to be best-selling and well-known and top bill, and whatever it is in your industry is the marker of being the pinnacle, the best known, the most widely respected, the biggest earning, all of that stuff. You want all of that, but at the same time, you're just terrified of all of that. And oh God, no, I can't have any of that. Don't, go away. I can't. And so, and not only is there, it's not just conceptual though, it is just deep in your soul. You feel this burning desire, this urge, this compulsion that you have something you want to say. And you feel, and there is a part of you that feels like the world needs you to say whatever it is, that you are the only messenger who can say it. But there's just this crushing fear and inability and resistance to doing that. So one of the key symptoms of the visibility wound is that you have just mounds of creative output, whether that's written work or it's songs or it's art or whatever it is that your particular form of creative expression and sharing your message with the world is. You've got an enormous amount of it that you have created, except it's all trapped inside your hard drive or sitting on your bookshelf or gathering dust in a corner. The tiny minority of it has been published or produced or released or whatever it is in your industry that allows you to get your message out into the world. So that's one of the primary symptoms. This huge volume of creative output, except that it all just caves inward instead of actually going out to the people that need to hear it. Another symptom of the visibility wound that is on a more practical level is procrastination. It is, spinning your wheels. That's another key symptom that the visibility wound is going on. And oftentimes, this gets confused with actual marketing confusion. Because if you are a creator, an artist, somebody with a message to share, great work that you want to get out into the world, an aspect of that in our modern world is marketing. Generally speaking, even if you're an author and you have a publisher, you're still responsible for doing the lion's share of your own marketing. We don't live in a world anymore where the publisher or the platform is going to do all that work for you. If you're an artist, you have to be able to sell your own work. And that's a complex process. Marketing is a really complex and involved science, and there's so many moving pieces to it. And it's really common for a small business owner, which all artists are also small business owners, to get caught up in not knowing what to do next with their marketing. And so sometimes that can be a function of a visibility wound, and sometimes it's just straight up marketing confusion. And the two of them often get really intertwined. But people who do suffer from a visibility wound often will one of the ways that we hide is instead of getting out there and doing the things that will actually get your work out in front of potential audience members or customers or clients, instead you'll futz around with, you'll tweak your website, or you'll design a new business card, or you'll do some small thing that feels like it's a marketing effort that might be really productive and good. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not getting your work out into the world. It's actually a distraction. It's a procrastination tactic. There's a lot of other ways that we hide, and that's the big symptom of a visibility wound, is that we find all kinds of clever, crafty ways to hide our light under a bushel, as they say. And the ways that I've just described, but another one is, for example, I've worked with a couple of different people as clients over the years who wanted to get out there into the world, but they were too afraid. And so what did they do instead? They worked behind a computer. Instead of being the front woman, these both happen to be women, out there on stage or showing their faces, they managed to figure out how to do their work from the anonymity and, hiddenness of being behind a computer screen. Another way that people hide is with their physical appearance. That you gain a lot of weight, or wear your hair down on your face, or you wear big glasses, or you let yourself go in physical ways so that you're not attractive. Regardless of what you look like, whether you're pretty or handsome or not, there's a way of making yourself attractive, and there's a way of making yourself hidden and unattractive, right? And if you're suffering from a visibility wound, often one of the ways that we will keep ourselves from being hidden is we will tone down the attractiveness, the attractability, if you will, of our physical appearance. We also, physically and geographically, we hide. We stay inside of our houses instead of going out into the world, or we stay in town rather than traveling and going to conferences, places where we might meet with people that want to know about our work. Another way of hiding is that instead of, putting yourself out on a platform, you find someone else or a group of someone else's, and you become a cheerleader for them. Or you think we all are going to become successful together. This whole group as a unit is going to go out there and make an impact. And occasionally that happens, but generally not. Generally, if you are meant to be a leader, to be a messenger, to be an artist, somebody with a message, some work that the world needs to see, you need to do it for you. You need to put your name on your work with your face and get out there into the world with that work. So, what is the master path of the visibility wound? Really, it's quite simple. I said that the core statement of the self-limiting belief around this wound is, if I succeed, people will see me, perhaps for the first time, and I'm obviously not ready for that. So the master path of this wound, once you have healed it, is, if I succeed, people will see me, perhaps for the first time. And I obviously am ready for that.